This is Mrs. Dan, and she doesn't remember movies. So we're going to go back and watch the entire MCU, and it'll be the first time she's ever seen it because, well, she didn't remember movies. So join us on our journey as we rewatch every movie in the MCU, and Mrs. Dan recaps them with what she remembers from the second time watching them. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to jump in with the first one, and it's Iron Man.
I remembered in Iron Man 1, it wasn't Iron Man 1, it's just Iron Man.
Yeah.
That he built a suit. I remember that he did that in a cave. So he built a suit in a cave. He wanted a cheeseburger. And I thought that was the end of the movie. So, and then at the end, he says, I am Iron Man.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
That's all. You don't remember villains, anything like that, just that specifically.
No, the villain who was in the movie, I thought was in a whole nother movie. So that was a good surprise.
So that's what we got, guys. So we got 3 things here. Suit in cave, cheeseburger, I am Iron Man.
Which, I mean, who doesn't? If you've never even seen I Am Iron Man, I'm pretty sure you know that he says Iron Man.
All right, so now that we've watched it, so we went back and watched it, and like we said, we're going to go back and watch each of these movies. We went back and watched the whole movie. Mm-hmm. How about you give us a recap, start to finish, what you remember of the movie now? And again, this is only 2 nights ago, so it wasn't
2 nights.
So a day and a half ago. So we'll see. What do you remember? Give us the breakdown.
Well, I don't even remember the beginning now. Okay, they were in a Humvee.
Okay.
Right? I remember the Humvee.
The Fun V.
The Fun V. I didn't remember that until you just said it. They were in a Fun V Humvee driving in Afghanistan, and it blew up. And then he got captured by someone, I guess. They didn't show that part, right? Of him actually being captured.
This is your recap.
Oh, okay. No hints. Okay, he was captured. They fixed him. People fixed him. There was a doctor there, and he gave him a fake heart made of stuff.
Okay.
And he woke up with a battery attached to him. Then they asked him to make the missiles. The people wanted the missile. What was I saying?
I don't remember what you were saying. So now you've forgotten the conversation as well as the movie.
I forgot the recap I was giving.
Okay, so he's in the cave.
He was fixed. They want him to recreate the missiles.
Yes.
They give him all this stuff. He was in shock that he saw all the Stark Industries stuff around him. They gave him all the tools he needed to fix it. They started, instead of making, the little doctor man was his assistant, which is jack of all trade. If he can make a heart out of
spoilers.
Well,
he's no. He's going to come up later. So
what?
Remember the Doctor Man?
Well, later in another movie?
Yeah, several weeks from
You're
now.
kidding. Several weeks?
Several weeks.
All right. Well, I'll probably have forgotten him by then. Well, he helps the jack of all trade doctor. And then he's helping him rebuild the missile.
Yep.
And then discovers that Tony Stark is not rebuilding the missile. He's making himself a suit to get out.
Yes.
So the doctor guy helps him. The people check on him. There's a bald guy, and then there's a bigger guy. There's 2 different bad guys. You never really see them together.
No. Names aren't important there.
Oh, I have no idea what their names are. Couldn't tell you.
Yep.
No matter. I don't remember the doctor's name.
That's all right.
Do you?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. Don't remember his name. When the suit is built, the doctor man sacrifices himself. He tells Tony Stark his whole family's already dead, so he's ready to go. So he dies. Tony Stark flies not very far, crashes into the sand. They pick him up, and some things happen.
Right, so
the cheeseburger happened after that.
Cheeseburger
Okay,
happened.
that's where I thought the cheeseburger was way later at the end of the movie, but I forgot there were 2 press releases. He has a cheeseburger. He says he's not going to make weapons anymore, the company.
Okay, so now after this is said, what happens?
He makes his fancy suit.
Okay, he makes the fancy suit.
Crushes all of his fancy cars in his roof. Stuff happens. Unimportant things happen.
Yep.
Then the bad guy ends up being
Obadiah,
the bald guy with the beard. Okay. Obadiah ends up being the bad guy. He wanted Tony Stark captured. Pepper Potts? Peppa or Pepper?
She's not a pig.
It's not Peppa
She's
Pig.
not a pig.
She finds out that she's the one who finds it out by looking on the computer.
Yep.
And then he makes the suit. And then she gets the SHIELD people who are not officially SHIELD yet. I mean, they are, but they don't have their name.
Well, they have the long name.
They don't have the acronym.
Right.
Okay.
They haven't figured out their acronym yet, but they already have their long name.
And they help her. I didn't know that guy, Coulson,
Yep.
was in the first Marvel movie. I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That was a surprise. Knowing that he is in other things, that was a nice surprise to see that he was in it from the beginning.
It's the whole plan.
Wow.
It's the whole plan.
It's amazing. It's like they thought it out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They got into a street fight.
Street fight. Like Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Street Fighter.
Then he goes into the sky and gets cold and falls down. Doesn't really make a difference. Right?
Doesn't make a difference.
It didn't make a difference. He
Doesn't
landed
really show.
somewhere and then he was fine. Right?
Yes, he was fine.
He was fine. Because then what happened after that? They're still fighting on the same roof after they both fell from space. Don't know how that happened. And then they blow up a reactor inside of the thing. And then the movie ends.
So they blew up the reactor. Movie ends. You forgot your third point.
I am Iron Man.
Yes.
In the press conference, he says, I am Iron Man. I don't know what happens to Obadiah. He dies. No, he fell into the reactor after he was electrocuted. Mm-hmm. He says, I am Iron Man. And then the movie ends.
All right. And then we have after credits. So this is important with the MCU.
I have no idea what he says. All he says is, I'm Nick Fury.
Yeah. And he has an initiative that he wants to tell him about.
Okay.
So
that sounds like what he probably said. I don't remember that.
So that's your recap.
There
that's
you
your
go.
recap of the whole movie.
If you've never seen it, you're welcome. That was the whole movie.
All right. So after we have the recap,
yeah,
I want to talk about what was your favorite parts of the movie? What stood out? Of course, we just heard your whole recap.
The whole thing. I mean, I gave you the whole minute and the whole movie in like 4 minutes.
Anything that just kind of stands out that you liked about the movie? Something maybe you didn't like about the movie? Just your review, what your personal feelings.
Okay, I thought it was a good movie. It was a good first Marvel movie after seeing the others that I don't remember. It's good.
It's a good starting spot.
Yeah, I was surprised that Obadiah was the villain. That's what I was going to say before. I thought he was the villain, and I do remember him being a villain, but I didn't know it was in the first one. I thought it was maybe Iron Man 2 or another mushmash Iron Man with something else.
Yeah.
It's good.
So it was
anyway, and I did notice that there always has to be a bus in fight scenes.
There's always a bus.
There's got to be.
There's gonna be a lot of buses in Marvel movies. So
we'll
have to count the bus count. We should
do a bus count
or the bus watch.
Yeah. Oh man, a bus. We can come up with something.
Yeah.
That's good.
We'll have to count the buses in movies. So far, we're at one. In the big fight scene, we had the bus.
Yeah. How many buses and like civilian buses are in the crosshairs of fights, Marvel fights. That's okay. Yeah. That's a whole thing on itself.
But
overall, I think it's a really good one. Yeah. It's one of your favorites, right?
Yeah. This is definitely one of my favorite movies. I mean, again, it's
Marvel
hard.
Movies,
yeah. It's hard because it is the starting point of the MCU. Honestly, from my perspective, it was one of the first grounded movies in the superhero genre.
What is grounded?
Grounded means like it could happen in real life. It felt more real.
Could happen in real life.
So this is coming off of the heels of the other.
It's not
Marvel
as
movies.
like fantasy,
right? So you're coming off of like, if we're looking outside the MCU, we're coming off of things like Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, X-Men movies, all Fox,
He's
Sony,
a superhero,
whatever.
but he is a created superhero.
It's one of those movies where somebody technically could go out there, be a weapons dealer, create this suit, the Mark I suit, like we talked about in the cave. It wasn't anything fancy.
No, but I do. There's no way.
Together.
And I have questions. How long did it take him to build the suit? How come they were building the suit in front of the camera? I mean, at the end only at the end did they show him hanging on the thing.
No. So the whole thing was they weren't building it in front of they were building it in a bunch of pieces.
Right.
And
but at one point I remember they showed him like messing with his leg piece.
Yeah,
do that behind a camera so that they're not like already thinking what are they doing?
They probably didn't notice that. And the whole thing was the plans were on different sheets of paper. You had to stack them up a certain way to see it.
Crumple them up before you leave, man.
They didn't notice it until towards the end when they're like, wait a minute, this doesn't look like the missile. And they said that a couple times on the montages when they were looking at the cameras. Yeah. So being able to do something like that, semi-realistic in that world. And again, we'll have to see, but it was a very different, feel than all of the previous Marvel movies. And I think that's another reason why it was nice. And again, this was Jon Favreau directing the whole movie. So Happy Hogan in the movie.
Yeah, he wasn't in there very much in this one.
So, but he was the director of the whole film, kicking off the MCU. He has done so many good movies, including some of your favorites. Elf.
My favorite Elf.
Yeah. Mandalorian, re-kicking that off.
Yeah, it's not higher than Elf though.
So overall, again, it was one of those. There's a lot of things rewatching it now. So again, I haven't watched this movie in at least 10 years. So rewatching it now, there's a lot of nodes to later movies, and I'll call those out as we go. So the Doctor, again, keep that one in mind for future. But there's a few other ones that we'll.
Do you want to talk about the ones you saw?
Recap. I want to. There's a few. So again, we did see Shield finally getting their name. We did see Coulson kind of plugged in.
Well, not finally. They got it in the movie.
Well, right, but I'm saying like we're starting to see the interconnectivity of the movie even from the first one. But no, there's
ways they can make other movies integrated into the movie.
Yeah. So there's a few other call outs. We heard the name The Ten Rings, which we'll talk about a long time from now, but The Ten Rings came up and a few other things that if you've watched the MCU now, you'd go, oh yeah, I remember hearing that. I remember seeing that. So there's a few other ones that I think are really awesome that I'm going to save for those movie reviews.
Well, you told me one. Okay.
Yeah. I want to save some of those for once we get to those movies.
So you just have to keep watching.
Yeah.
For weeks upon
just because
weeks.
it won't make as much sense if you haven't seen those other movies. And so again,
people watching this probably have not seen those other movies.
I'm just saying they're following along with us, and I'll point them out as we get there. But I did point out a few.
Okay.
As we're going through. So as we rank these, right? So
we're gonna be hard to rank.
These. So this is our first one, but as we go each week, we're gonna put our definitive rank on these movies. Now we may actually have two different ranks. We'll have to see. Maybe a Dan rank.
Oh, I think that's a great idea because I have very different different views on movies.
Yeah, so we'll do that. But for you,
it's number one. It's number one. It was a very good, entertaining movie, and I like how they did the flashbacks. No, they just did one flashback.
Just towards the beginning, yeah.
The one flashback. No, it was really well done. I liked it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, again. For now, because this is the first movie, it is definitely going to be number one in the ranking. But I have a feeling this one will stay up there for a little while.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see
what we
can knock it off with. But,
we'll see.
So as we think about this journey of watching all these movies, next up, we have the Incredible Hulk. So Edward Norton's chance at playing the Hulk here, which we know later gets replaced. But
wait, which one is this?
This is the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton.
That was after Iron Man?
Yes. So that is the next movie in the list of movies.
Wow. So. I remember even less. This is the one with Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler. Yeah.
I remember that Liv Tyler was in this movie.
That's it. That's all you remember about the movie?
Her dad's the bad guy.
Okay.
And there was a fight scene in a yard. And there was overpass. Not an overpass. What's that called? That you walk across. It's enclosed.
Like a bridge?
No, it's not a bridge.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
about. Like a breezeway.
Yeah, breezeway.
A breezeway.
Closed breezeway. Okay.
There is a glass breezeway looking out onto a field, and there's a fight scene.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Ending of the movie?
No.
Anything in between?
No.
All right.
That's literally it.
So if that's
I think I remember. I think I might just remember pieces of the last scene.
What's the last scene?
No, just that last part. I think everything I'm remembering is within the same
the walkway
event.
Bridge thing.
The walkway bridge. The dad being the bad guy. Liv Tyler is the love interest.
Yeah. Spoilers.
It's not the end of the movie.
Okay.
All right. So
That's literally, and I think it's just like 1 or 2 scenes, actual things that I'm remembering.
You have to
That's
see, because that's not the end of the movie. So
Ooh, what's going to happen?
I'm excited. So we're going to be watching that movie next. And next week, so we're going to try to do this one recap a week.
At least one.
And so
I think sometimes maybe we can get crazy and do 2.
Maybe. So the next one coming out will be that to continue this journey in the MCU. And I'm excited about it because, again, I know you can't remember all these movies, but it's going to be fun to rewatch these movies, pick up all the little things that we may have missed, in this
I know that.
world.
I think that will be interesting. So. I think it will be interesting to look back and see the nods to future movies, because they did have all these things planned. So I think that'll be very interesting. So if you're interested in watching more of me recapping these amazing movies, hit subscribe so that you can see us all the time, every week when we do it.
And make sure, leave a comment below. What is your favorite part of Iron Man specifically? And what are your thoughts on the ranking? So again, I know this is number 1, but each week I want to know from you guys, what is your favorite movie? What's your number 1 MCU movie as we work our way through this, as well as anything else we may have missed in the movie?
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a lot. And again, like I said, I'm trying not to spoil every little thing for every future movie, but I definitely am having fun rewatching these
and help us count the bus scenes. Yes. How many buses were harmed in the making of these films?
Did we only catch 1 and there should have been more? Now that that's a thing, I'm going to have to actually keep my eye out in the future.
I know. So that's just what we have in store. Just a little treat of how terrible my memory is in watching movies. So join us next time while we do The Incredible Hulk, a brand new movie. What I probably remember is just basically from the trailer. So we'll see.
All right. Until next time, guys, y'all take it easy.